I want to be a manga protagonist. These are the words spoken by Maruo, the main character of Ayashimon, one of Weeekly Shonen Jump's newest manga. It serves as a traditional goal that the main character of battle manga or battle shonen tend to have. To be the Pirate King, the Hokage, the Wizard King. But while the same, it's also fundamentally different. Because Luffy, Naruto and Asa's goal are metaphors. They are means for us to attach to our own goals and ambitions. We don't want to be the next Pirate King, but we can help but want to have the same drive and energy as Luffy. We can help but want to be a manga protagonist. It's easy to look at Maruo and say that he has reached his goal. After all, in the meta-narrative of the story, Maruo has become a manga main character, but that's missing a bit of the point of his goal. He's not a shonen main character, he is a reader. That makes him a completely different character archetype. But what I find interesting is that Yuji Kaku, in writing a character that is so different and unique from the tropes we are used to seeing, shows how much he appreciates and loves the traditional shonen main character. When your main character's goal is to want to be a battle manga main character and his backstory involves being raised by Jump issues, it's natural that we're going to get references to big titles, but Ayashimon uses Shonen Jump in two different ways. One is to use the love that Maruo has for manga to build upon his character, as Yuji Kaku explains the essence and the appeal of shonen through the lens of his main character. The other is a little bit more cheeky and interesting, as we can use the Jump references to figure out the timeline of Ayashimon. And I don't mean that you can kinda tell more or less the era it's happening, no, I mean we can actually tell the exact real life week that the events are happening. And I'm going to prove just that later in the video, but first I want us to look at the first chapter so that we can see exactly what it tells us about the appeal of Shonen Jump. So the first chapter has the task of introducing us to Maruo, the brash meathead main character of this manga, and not only tell us his goal, but also why he has that goal. We see that he has suffered as a child, being bullied by not only his classmates but also his dad. Living a miserable life, he attaches himself to the escapism of manga and its main characters. Throughout the chapter, we see him reference Kinnikuman, Jotaro, Goku, and Kenshiro, arguably the four most important characters in shaping the shonen character trope from the 80s till now. These are strong characters, they don't lose, and that's why he loves them. They represent a world where everyone can be saved, where the bad guys get beaten up, a world where someone's out there to protect the weak. But not only that, these characters are not the ones being protected, these are the ones protecting. It always annoys me a little when people hate on Asa or Tanjiro or any other character for being too nice. Sure, these characters are not Guts, but Guts serves a different purpose. First of all, it's not meant to be read by a predominantly young audience, and so it's okay to be a more nuanced and morally grey character. And while it's not impossible or wrong to make morally grey or more nuanced shonen main characters, these characters are supposed to be role models. They are supposed to be inspiring. You're supposed to want to be them, and it's not really good to try to give a morally grey character to be a kid's role model. That's why Kenshiro works. I find it amazing that Fist of the North Star is one of the foundations of the genre, especially when it comes to the main character trope, because I feel like they nailed it perfectly. And it's in comparing Kenshiro to Maruo that we get to understand Maruo's true goal and why he really isn't there just yet. Maruo and Kenshiro have one thing in common, the one thing Maruo kept saying he wanted: strength. But throughout Fist of the North Star, we often see that despite Kenshiro being practically unbeatable, contrary to Maruo, it's never the strength that he finds important. Kenshiro is strong because he needs to be strong. He's not in it for himself. As a matter of fact, never throughout the series does he use this power for himself. He never jumps into a battle because he can or because he was provoked. Rather, he does it exclusively when it's the only way to save or help someone weaker than him. That's the epiphany that Maruo hasn't reached yet. That's the thing stopping him from being the manga main character that he so wishes to be. That's why he feels empty when he beats up his dad or his classmates. It's futile battles against people who are weaker than him for no reason other than fighting. He's not helping anyone, he's not saving anyone, he's just doing it because he wants to be strong. At least when Goku did it, he got to save the world time and time again. Maruo just beats a bunch of teens that probably don't deserve a beating that hard, and his dad hardly did. Now, Maruo is doing a bit better. He saved Ura and Ten, but he still focuses a lot more on the idea of fighting strong characters rather than the protecting side of things. But I assume that will change slowly, and that at the end of the manga, Maruo will be way more like Kenshiro than he is right now. The last chapter published today, the 11th, also calls back to the loneliness of Maruo and how manga and Shonen Jump helped him, not only battle manga or main characters this time. Gag manga can also make you laugh and forget the bad times. That's part of why I love it too. There's nothing better than to laugh at something on a bad day. That's why manga exists. And that's why art exists. It's for the author, for the person to explore their ideas and put them out there, but it's also for the author to be able to help and connect with everyone. I love manga, and I can't help but relate to Maruo's love for it as well. That's all this video is. It's me seeing not only Maruo's love, but Yuji Kaku as well, and relate to it and appreciate it. That's part of the reason why I'm not often negative in this channel. There's so many good things in manga that help a lot of people that I don't like focusing on the negatives. And it's weird that that's the thing I love the most in Ayashimon, despite having a lot of other great stuff in it. But because I am a geek and I love manga so much, I actually decided to look up the Shonen Jump cover that appears on the last chapter, because I recognized Rokunashi blues and I knew for a fact that they were real. And I actually came across something pretty cool that I wanted to share, and I didn't think it was worth do a whole video on it, so everything up to this point was made up exclusively for this part, so let's get into it. Not only are the covers real, but they aren't just throwaway covers from random issues, they are incredibly accurate to each other. So what do I mean by this? Well, in chapter 3 we get this little reference. Maruo is commenting on the fact that this is the first time he's reading an issue the week it comes out. Then he mentions the fact that it has a new series by mangaka Tadashi Sato about a space bear. As you may have imagined, this is a real mangaka and a real series called, and I'm sorry about this, Baku Atsu, Uchu Kuma-san, Tadabear, and Kiku Chiku-kun. The title will be on the screen. That series that I will never mention by name again in my life debuted in issue number 18 of 1992, released on the week of April 20. Using this information, we can actually pinpoint the actual issue that Maruo is reading, which is not number 18 because the cover shows Goku. The cover happens to be the double issue 22 and 23 of 1992, released on the week of May 18th. And honestly, I don't see why Maruo would reference this little known and actually rapidly cancelled series if it wasn't to give us the information of when this series is happening. And I think that's reinforcing the way it's used in the most recent chapter. When our group escapes safely, Maruo asks for a manga, which then grabs the Shonen Jump issue from a place labeled New Releases. The cover is hard to tell, but it's actually issue number 26 of 1992, which lets us know that it's been an entire month since Maruo and Urara arrived in the district. Not only that, but when Urara awakes, Ten reveals that she's been asleep for 2 weeks. This information is delivered on a panel of Maruo reading a different Shonen Jump issue, which you may have guessed, but it's issue number 28, released 2 weeks later. But did Maruo read issue number 27, you ask? Yes, he did. As a matter of fact, that's probably why that's the issue he hands down to Urara, because he's done with it already. So pay attention to the next issues that will appear on Ayashimon, because I can guarantee they're not randomly picked. If you like Ayashimon and you want to see me talk a little bit more about it, you can check my video on my first thoughts on the first chapter on the series on the left. And if you watched it till here, thank you very much. I'll see you next video.